Alright, we are taking a look today at the Kingbull Hunter 2.0. This is a 26-inch fat tire bike from Kingbull, and I'm doing things a little bit out of order today as opposed to what I normally do. Normally I will go for a little ride first, then do the walk around, but we're dealing with April rainy weather, so I think I want to get some shots of this bike while it's still not so muddy and a little pretty looking before I go out and get it dirty. But this being the version 2.0, there are some upgrades from the first version. Notably, we've got a 750 watt Bafang geared hub drive motor back here, so that's a big improvement from the first model. We've got hydraulic brakes, Mozo front suspension, so we've got an upgraded suspension here, and upgraded battery as well. Oh, and we've also got an upgraded screen from version 1.0. And if we hold both the plus and minus button here on the pedal assist controls here, that will open up the P parameters in the screen so we can go in there and modify the settings as needed. We've got our headlight control button here, and this is what the bike looks like with the headlight on. I've not ridden it at night, so I can't really speak as to how powerful that headlight is. It looks pretty good as compared to most e-bike headlights. And back here we've got a tail light as well, and I'm going to try to do the stretch here and show you that it also doubles as a brake light. As I mentioned before, we've got 26 by 4 inch fat tires. They are CST branded, and they're the standard gravel knobby pattern that you see on most e-bikes. The brakes on this bike are fantastic. They are Zoom branded hydraulic brakes, 180 millimeter, and they do a great job of stopping this bike. We've got Mozo suspension up front. We've got some adjustment for the preload, and we can lock that suspension out if necessary. We've got our standard Shimano shifter here. Basic, plain Jane, gets the job done, no complaints there. Got a quarter twist throttle. We got a quarter twist throttle here and big comfortable grips. The screen is upgraded and it looks great. We've also got on this screen where we've got some tilt and adjustment, and I've not seen that on any other e-bikes yet, so I really like that. And it's also a horizontal screen. I prefer that on an e-bike as well. The seat is pretty comfortable. I would say for really long rides you might want to get something wider, and this is a rigid frame, so it could definitely benefit from a suspension seat post. We've got standard metal pedals, so they should last. On the back, again, another 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brake. 7-speed Shimano cassette, Shimano tourney derailleur guard. Up front here on the chainring, we've got a single chainring guard. I would prefer dual, but it is what it is, and it gets the job done. I really like this heavy-duty rack. It's rated for, I think, 25 kilograms, which is like 56 pounds. Putting the bike together was pretty easy. I had essentially no problems with it, but getting the rack on was the most challenging part. There was a little bit of, I think it got bent a little bit during shipping, and I did have to kind of loosen some bolts and readjust and move things around and take some bolts out and put them back in, and getting that on was definitely the hardest part of the assembly. Most of it was pretty simple, but this can be a little bit of a challenge to get that lined up properly and get it on. But all total, I think I had 30 minutes in assembly. That's including the challenges that I had with the rack. And at a glance, this looks like a big bike, but the frame is actually kind of on the small side, and that's neither a good or bad thing. I would say that the downside to that is that when you pedal and you've got your foot on the front pedal, you can turn the wheel and it can rub. Once you're aware of that, it's not something that really happens very often. I will say that this being a small frame, it's very nimble for a 26-inch fat tire bike, and I do like that a lot. It's also fairly lightweight for a 26-inch fat tire bike, and the pictures and video do not do this thing any justice as to how beautiful this bike is. This paint job is a super gloss black and just looks amazing. We've also got plastic fenders both front and rear, and I don't mind plastic fenders at all. I actually prefer plastic fenders over metal fenders because, one, they're a lot more quiet than metal fenders, but also plastic fenders will kind of flex and sway a little bit, whereas a metal fender, if you bend it too far, it basically kinks and breaks it. And if you ever need to replace a plastic fender, it's a lot cheaper than replacing a metal fender. So I may be in the minority on that opinion, but I actually do prefer the plastic fenders. Anyway, I think I've talked about the bike enough. Let's hop on it and go for a ride. Alright, here we go. We're going to take the Kingbull Hunter out on a little ride here. Due to poor planning on my part, I don't quite have the battery topped off. We're at like 80-90%. Anyway, here we go. Pedal assist level 1. I'm going to take off throttle only. And it does have some nice pep and pickup. When I hit that throttle, it takes off pretty well. Especially for pedal assist level 1. It's got some nice pickup for sure. Once I get out of this more pedestrian area, I'll give it a little bit more speed and we can see what she's got after that. But looks like pedal assist level 1 is capping out at right around 10 miles per hour. I'm pedaling a little bit, but I'm not really putting a whole lot of effort into it. And I did take off from a stop with throttle only. We're going to go up into pedal assist level 2 now. And it looks like this is capping out at about 15 miles per hour. Level 3. Let me slow down here just in case there are any pedestrians around the curve. I don't want to be that guy who ruins e-biking for everybody due to stupidity and scaring people and things like that, but we'll go up here and make a turn. And best advice I can give anybody is when you are in an area where you have pedestrians, slow down, don't ruin it for everybody. And I'm going to go off into the grass here. No problems there at all. Back onto the pavement. And let's get back up into pedal assist level 3. And that's capping us out at about, looks like 19 miles per hour. It gets up through the pedal assist levels pretty quickly. I am noticing here there is a little bit of discrepancy between the built-in speedometer and GPS. It looks like it might be off by a mile or 2 per hour. This is a nice casual riding bike. It's comfortable and it's good for riding trails like this. Up into pedal assist level 4. Looks like the built-in speedometer is saying right around 24 miles per hour, just on the upper end of 23, and GPS is capping out at 22. And once I cross the road up here, we'll go into pedal assist level 5. I am pedaling along casually, and I can still feel a little bit of resistance in the pedals. I'm gonna guess that once I get up into level 5, I'm just gonna be ghost pedaling. Once I get up over this bridge, we'll go into 5. I can definitely feel some power in this motor. And if there are any audio problems, I apologize. It is extremely windy out today. Okay, up into level 5, and we got a hill right here, so not a fair test for level 5. But it's still holding 20 going up the hill. I am pedaling a little bit. Here's where we get to cheat a little bit. level 5 going downhill. Brakes are nice. These hydraulic brakes do a great job of stopping this bike, and the bike's fairly lightweight. All right, here we go. I'm just going to stop here and take off in pedal assist level 5. We're on flat ground. Nobody's around. Throttle only. It would definitely take off a little faster if I would help pedal, but we're just doing this throttle test. And we got a hill here. So we'll do a hill test. Taking off, throttle only, pedal assist level 5. Let's see how it climbs up this hill. Oh yeah. I feel like the bike is governed, and whatever it's capping out at, there's something limiting the voltage in here. Yeah, it went right up this hill, no problem. But it feels like when you're in pedal assist level 5 and you hit that cap, it's got more power, but there's something kind of like drawing it back. So it's definitely governed. I've got everything unlocked for top speed. A lot of these bike manufacturers will basically lock out a top speed to make sure that they can sell the bike in certain areas. But yeah, bike ride's great. It is a little bit of a tight position. Like I said, it's kind of a smaller frame, but not in a bad way. It feels very nimble. I would say on a really long ride, you're not going to be able to stretch out. I'm 5'10", and the bike fits me pretty good. I would say if you're any taller than that, you might run into some problems, especially for long distance comfort. But for casual riding, bike feels amazing. And see how it's balanced. Very windy today, but the bike handled it no problem. There is no cruise control on this bike that I'm aware of. And I'm kind of wishing that I would have capped out the battery before I left today, but I mean, for the kind of riding I'm doing today, this thing's gonna be just fine. So, on a straightaway here, the built-in speedometer is saying 27. I'm essentially ghost pedaling, and GPS is saying 25 for our top speed, which for most of the kind of riding that I do, that is plenty fast enough. I normally ride rail and trail, and I'm riding at like 15 to 20 miles per hour, like 20 miles per hour absolute tops, but it is nice to have a little extra speed when you need it. For trails like this where you're running into constant pedestrians, 25 miles per hour is actually too fast. I'm sure somebody's going to disagree with that, but those are the people who are going to get some strict e-bike laws put into place that I don't want to see. I'm not a big fan of laws and being governed and things like that. This is the monster hill here that pretty much most e-bikes can't make it up. I'm going to try to go up this thing. I don't know. I don't think this bike's going to make it, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to go up into pedal assist level 5. I don't think the camera does this thing any justice for how steep this hill actually is. This is a pretty steep grade here, but the fisheye on an action cam will always kind of distort that and make it look less. But here we go. I'm going to take off from pedal assist level 5, throttle only. I'm not going to pedal, and we're going to see if we can make it up this hill. I don't think it's going to make it, but here we go. What? It did it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Most bikes won't make it up that hill without some assistance in pedaling, but this one pulled it off. And it's only a 750 watt motor. So, not bad at all. I was so impressed with that. I'm going to do that again, this time with some rollout. Pedal assist level 5, throttle only, me not pedaling. Here we go. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Not complaining at all. Though I did notice where I was talking about this being a small frame bike, when I did a tight turn coming around at the top of that, my toe did hit the fender as I turned the wheel. So that's just something to be aware of. And I'm really kind of just an average sized guy. I've been riding along in like pedal assist level 2 for a lot of this ride, and after that hill climb up in pedal assist level 5, this bike's got some pep for sure. Oh, it's starting to rain, so I'm going to have to make me a mad dash to get back. I'm about 6 miles out, so I'm going to kind of hustle to get back to the beginning. Probably running at a higher pedal assist level than I normally would, so that really kind of helps to really screw any kind of range test I would be doing today. Alright, I brought the bike out here today for a second day of testing. It just didn't sit with me right that I didn't charge the battery to full, so I want to get a full range test on this bike today. I'm going to ride the bike in pedal assist level 3, and I think that gets us up right around 18 miles per hour. And I'm going to just go for a pretty long ride. I probably won't run the battery all the way out, but I do want to get a pretty good idea of just how far the bike is going to be able to go on a full battery. This is a little harder than I would normally run a bike, but it'll run the battery out faster. But it still should give us a good idea of the battery performance on this bike. I'm going to drop down to 2 as I go through the park here, and when we get out on the trails I'll open her up a little bit. But we are at 5 bars on the battery meter here, and it's a cold one today. If it were not so chilly, I would definitely take my time and run this down in pedal assist level 2, but I think that I'm going to be getting pretty cold before this ride's over, so I'm going to ride it a little bit faster and get the test done quicker. It's got some pep in pedal assist level 2. It is not to be ignored here. I mean, it gets up to like 14, 15 miles per hour when you give it just a little bit of pedal, and it gets up there pretty quick. You can feel the power in the rear motor. Alright, we're on the trails now. There should be fewer pedestrians out here, especially as chilly as it is today. So I'm going back up into assist level 3, and that's where we're going to ride it. For how long, I don't know. For as long as I can hold out without freezing my butt off. Let's go off and do a little bit of gravel riding here. This bike does have a rigid frame, so it does ride kind of rough when you go over bumps and dips and things like that, but it's doing this gravel trail no problem at all. Yeah, not what I would consider an off-road bike, but for riding on dirt roads and trails like this, it's just fine. Now those holes back there were a little bit rough just because the bike is a rigid frame, but it was fine. Alright, we're going to do our first range check-in here. I've done 8 miles and we're at 4 out of 5 bars, and I've ridden this mostly at around 18 to 20 miles per hour. I did drop down a little bit when I did some of the off-road mudding, and I was riding at like 14 miles per hour at that point, and so that's gonna affect the range on the bike. But 8 miles, 4 out of 5 bars. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. I really wanted to put 20 miles on the bike today to see what kind of range we would get, but it is just too damn cold, so I'm gonna get back to the beginning and we're gonna do our final range report at that point. Okay, I got back to the beginning here and we are at 18 miles. It just ticked over 18 miles and it just dropped to 2 bars out of 5. I rode mostly in pedal assist level 3, right around 20 miles per hour, just under 20 miles per hour actually. And I did go do a little bit of off-roading, and I did do a little bit of hill climbing, but for the most part, this was mostly a flat ground ride. I slowed down a little bit a few times for pedestrians, but I didn't have very many stops, so I'm going to call it for the range test here. 18 miles, pedal assist level 3, 2 bars left. If you're heavier than I am, you're going to get less miles than that. If you're lighter than I am, you're going to get more. If you ride it harder, you're going to get less. If you ride it easier, you're going to get more. But I would say that if you keep pushing it and run it completely dead, which you're really not supposed to do, you might get about 25, 26 miles. That's just my best guess. I would say that once you drop to 1 bar out of 5, that's your 20%. That's when it's time to take the bike back and start charging it, because you don't want to run the battery completely out. But that's the final range test, and that's where I'm going to call it. Okay, so with a list price of $999 on Kingbull's website, is the Kingbull Hunter 2.0 worth it at that price? And I would say, in my opinion, absolutely yes. You get a lot of quality components on this bike that you don't get on other bikes at cheaper prices. And when I say cheaper prices, I'm talking only like, you know, $100, $200 cheaper than this bike, and you get a massive downgrade in the quality, and you get some really serious quality components on this bike. You've got a 750 watt Bafang hub drive motor in the back, you've got a really well solid built frame, and you've got CST brand tires, you got the high quality screen, you got a good battery. The list goes on and on in comparison to a cheaper bike. You also get the heavy duty rack in the back, and with a cheaper bike, bare bones bike, that's not something that you're going to see. So I'm the kind of guy who would rather spend a couple $100 more and get a quality bike that I'm not going to have to mess with and maintain, and I just know that it's going to have some longevity, rather than cheap out, go $200 less and have to put a lot of work into maintaining the thing. There's a lot to be said for just being able to hop on a bike and go, and knowing that it's going to treat you well over time. Alright, my final thoughts on the Kingbull Hunter version 2.0. Well, I think I've already said everything I need to say about this bike in this video. You're getting a quality bike with some premium components at a fair price. If you don't mind the frame being a little bit small for a 26-inch fat tire bike, you're going to be pretty happy with this bike. I would say that if you're really tall, this is not going to be the bike for you, but if you are of an average height or shorter, you're going to have a lot of fun on this bike. And I do like that the small frame lends itself to being a very nimble bike. The thing turns on a dime, and it's a lot of fun to ride. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.